Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, the last couple of days, I've been talking about videos from a couple of women who have left the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they're not talking about the latter days, Armageddon, or at least news subjects on the war between Hamas and Israel. And so I thought I'd now check Mormons to see if they're talking about it. And so I'm here at Kwaku's former channel. It's like the channel to promote into Mormon apologists. And so all of these are in the minor league apologists. And their thumbnail pictures are very colorful. The most recent one from 23 hours ago has 3.9k views. Alison has mental health problems. Anybody been following my videos? What is mental health code for? Mental retarded. It's a psychological manipulation. And so she's saying how my LDS, Alison, Jesus is angry. He's offended. Do you not understand that they don't say Mormon apologetics anymore? It's no longer, let's see, it was Farms originally back in my day, and then Hinckley broke it up after their scandal with me and created it in the Maxwell Institute at BYU, and it was changed to Fair Mormon originally, and then they had to drop Mormon, and so it became Fair. And I think it's still Fair, but anyway, regardless of what happened and the scandals that ensued over the years. Yeah, oopsie. This is the Mormon youth. And as I did the church news video yesterday, covering at the end of the video since it passed the 5 o'clock hour and I was doing the video on McKenzie, thought I'd cover the church news at the same time. The church is telling the young adults that they don't have a testimony. But on the 22nd of October, the little toddlers apparently have a testimony. The little toddlers are more righteous than the young adults. Oops. And this is why they're not using the name Jesus. Shame on you, Alison. You're a wicked girl. It's the church, not me. And so apparently her mission triggered her mental health. She's mentally retarded, and she's blaming her mission for triggering it. Because that's what they used to call it when I was a kid. Mental retardation. And I did the video the other day about how it's changed in name over the generations. So now it's mental health. It's not mental illness. It's not mental disease. It's not a behavioral problem. It's not a mental disorder. It's not a mental disease. It's not mental retardation anymore. But it means the same exact thing. You just interchange the names, depending on which time period psychologists are using. And so yes, it's mental health today. Back in the 70s, it was mental retardation. And nobody seems to catch on to that because apparently I'm the only one who knows. I'm the only one who's lived this long. Nobody else has lived this long to figure it out. I'm watching 24. I just got to the episode in season 8 where the lethal weapon guy for TV on Fox, who got fired because he was a little too violent with, which Wayans brother was it? But regardless, ruined the Lethal Weapon TV show. And then they got that other guy from American Pie in there, and that was just a new show. And it's like, it's okay, but it's not the same show. And so it ended. But yeah, the thumbnail picture is also telling of what she's trying to say. So she's accusing the mission of triggering her retardation. And so the thumbnail picture, Alison Jones. With Alison Jones. I noticed there's a lot more women now that Kwaku's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 women for this. So it takes 4 women to replace Kwaku, huh? The thumbnail picture says, having faith. Okay? Mental illness, mental health mental retardation, is a false science. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing. She is parroting what her LDS Family Services told her to believe in. To not blame the church. It's her fault. She is mentally retarded. And therefore, don't blame the church. Just like with Julia. Right? Am I getting the right association? No. Because Julia is the one who decided to become queer and abandon her family. McKenzie is the one who wanted to go on a mission at 23 years of age, and she went and talked with her bishop, and in the conversation with her bishop, the bishop asked her, is there anything in your life that has not been resolved with the priesthood leader that you need to discuss now? And so she decides to say, well, there were a couple of priesthood leaders who I tried to tell about this. I was sexually assaulted as a 15-year-old girl. Child. And the bishop used the emergency hotline to cover it all up and, again, be number 3, who covered up the child sex crime against McKenzie. And the bishop, to cover it up, sent her to get a mental health evaluation, for which the psychologist at Family Services, no longer called LDS Family Services because Jesus is angry, needs to take anger management from Family Services, that she has mental retardation, and so she can't go on her mission. Okay? So Family Services protecting the church by being abusive, telling people they're mentally retarded. That's how the church is protecting themselves. Okay? And so, LDS Family Services strikes again on another Mormon girl and says that she had an incorrect belief because of her mental retardation, and she needs to have faith in an imperfect church. What? How does that apply to an LDS mission triggering her mental retardation? Family Services, can you help me out with this? No, because you don't use science, you use fallacy arguments in all your discussions, just like these Mormon apologists who are in the minor leagues are doing. You see the difference? Mormons who are not taught about the Mormon apologist stuff, who do not get indoctrinated by it, when they learn about the truths of the church, they leave because it's abominable. And then they've got their own damage that results in blaming Joseph rather than recognizing that Brigham Young is the big con man in the big picture here. Because if you've not been catching on, with the rise of Islam, I get to talk about Islam. I only talk about Mormons and subjects that relate to Mormons. And so I don't talk about the corruption of Christianity unless I'm talking about the first vision, because that's when Joseph does. And so I'm not doing videos to talk to Christians. But if a Christian dares to come along and spread their lies on my channel, you better watch out. You better not shout. I know your religion too. I know your history. I know your origins. I know how it functions over the course of time. You don't. You've believed the lies, exactly like Mormons and ex-Mormons and former Mormons and critics. And so, because I'm not talking to Christians, I don't expose all things related to Constantine and what he did to the Jews, unless and only if it deals with the first vision. And so Mormons, they hear it in my videos. And so there was a period of time this year when these preachers and pastors and religious leaders were subscribing to my channel, because it was really awesome that I was exposing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they keep watching, and then, oops, that's not what we want to hear. That's not faith promoting to Christianity, Trinitarian Jesus. And they're gone. Despite the additional 10 ghost subscribers after doing the video that the other 10 that was added are ghost subscribers. YouTube, you suck. That's all I have to say. And there's more I can say, but because they briefly had it so that when I put my song in the description below, you could read what the song title was instead of just the link. But they've given up on that with their new makeover, and it's just the link now that you can see. You can't see what the song is in the description below. But they went and did a whole bunch of other problems. But anyway. And so this is telling of the difference between McKenzie, who wanted to go on a mission, but because she was sexually assaulted by an adult leader married when she was 15 years old, her bishop protected the church by having her sent to family services to tell her she's mentally retarded and therefore can't go on her mission. And so, Mormon girl who remains Mormon was on her mission, but it triggered her mental retardation. And so she came back. She most likely didn't serve the full mission. And so she's talking about, on the thumbnail picture, having faith in an imperfect church, not a criminal organization. This is how Mormon apologists excuse the church's crimes. Every single one of us who go on a mission are involved in a pyramid scam. You don't know what a pyramid scam is? You've never worked for USANA or bought from them or recruited from them to sell USANA or doTERRA or etc., etc., etc. Why are they not getting busted by the law here in Utah? It's because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a pyramid scam. And so Mormons start up a business saying, hey, that missionary thing was a great idea. I'm going to do it for my business. I heard it on my mission. I had missionaries saying to me, as a missionary in New York, New York, yeah, being a missionary is just like being a salesman. No, it's not. We're not selling anything. Oh, whoops, we are. Because when we recruit, the recruits have to pay the church. And then they go on missions, and they recruit, and they pay the church. Pyramid scheme. It's a crime. Let's do a little quick thing on this. Penalty for pyramid scheme. All right, 4 years in prison and $5,000 fine. And so, $250,000 for the 50,000 missionaries, each count. And then, or it's 50,000, isn't it? Ooh, whoops. I'm way too low on my number. So 25, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So $250 million the church should be fined for every single count of a missionary on their mission performing the pyramid scheme. And then 4 times 50,000 is 200,000 years in prison for the leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Recruiting people to participate in a pyramid scheme is a felony crime in the United States of America. What was Article of Faith number 12 again? And yet, the church, using family services, is calling Alison Jones mentally retarded. Blaming her, making her a victim, and blaming the victim. So it's only a 12-minute, 18-second video. And I don't know what her imperfection in the church is. But that's their excuse that they use. And that was just one video from Saints Unscripted. They haven't changed. They put 4 women to replace Kwaku, but they haven't changed. Dear God. And, see, the women are doing feelings. Next one, is the Book of Mormon true? Are feelings on the Book of Mormon? Yeah, that'll prove and establish the truth that the Book of Mormon is true. Your feelings. And then finding joy in my life. Can I be happy all the time? Really? Is that what you read from the scriptures when it says, mourn with those who mourn? Or was that what the primary song, if by chance you meet a frown, do not let it stay, quickly turn it upside down and frown that smile away? See, this is how Mormons act. When they're friendly to you, it's a front. I watched the conference and they showed a close-up of the Relief Society. And the one lady, I don't know which island in the Pacific her original family comes from. I don't know if she's a second counselor. I think she's a second counselor because that's usually how it works. The first counselor is on the right and the second counselor is on the left. There's a tradition on that. And in the priesthood, I noticed a pattern that the first counselor was always a hardliner and the second counselor was more liberal. I noticed that pattern in all of the various wards I've been to all these decades. Weird. But nonetheless, she is not well modeled. She's like a home mother. You know, you open up the door, she's had a whole long day dealing with 8 cows to take care of, Johnny Lingo. Her hair wasn't really like Alison's. You know, she's a normal woman there on the stand at conference. And she has the tired, exhausted look on her face. And I cry. Because these women are being exploited. They're given a position of assumed authority only over women, and it's obvious that it's taking a toll on them, but they can't expose it, they can't admit it, they can't confess to it. Mormon women in Utah are the highest per capita that are taking depression drugs by psychologists. And you can see it's the church that is blaming them. Victim blaming women. And it's wearing women down. And it's sad. Because women are awesome. But the church weaponizes them to be evil to us who are male. And if women don't get mean towards us, then they are beaten down into submission where they victim blame themselves and fall into depression. And they blame themselves and don't find fault with the church being criminal and abusive. That's not imperfection. Imperfection is saying the wrong meaning. What do I use for an example? Saying the Civil War instead of the Revolutionary War. That kind of an error. That's an imperfection. You know, to commit a crime and to justify that crime as an imperfection is wrong. And the church has got more than just pyramid scheme, in case you didn't catch on. There's the SEC violations, there's the tithing scandal. There's a whole lot more in regards to financial crimes. Then there's other crimes, attempted murder. seditious conspiracy, terrorism, financing terrorism. They funded the war in Ukraine. And so, yes, not registering as a foreign agent and other serious crimes. But the church is teaching these Mormons you're mentally ill unless you call it an imperfection. Just weaknesses of mortality. But nobody is talking about Armageddon. Nobody. Is God an alien? Our feelings on the Book of Mormon? Converted by my co-worker. Did you marry her? OCD, another mentally retarded guy from the church, helped me to get closer to God. There's no such thing as obsessive-compulsive disorder. You establish a pattern as a kid, and you just do that throughout your life. And so people then tell you, oh, you're being obsessive-compulsive. When it gets to the point where you think you have to do it, otherwise all hell's going to break loose, and it hurts you with your job and your family relations and your social relations and church duties and responsibilities to pay tithing to get into the temple and be worthy. Yeah, you've taken it too far. I've seen that with my brother Todd. He, for the longest time, believed that getting dirty was sinful and evil because of the teachings of our mom. And so he got dirty one time and he was crying. And mom was like, well, go clean up. Take a bath. Okay. He never understood the concept of cleaning after getting dirty. And so he didn't like to go camping. He didn't like to go hiking in the mountains with his older brother in the Boy Scouts or the young adult ward or the young adults. He always stayed home. And so he didn't get the 5 Peaks Award. I did. I've been to the top of the mountains. Mohammed wasn't. Me. Not even Martin Luther King, though that was an awesome speech. Should be archived for all eternity. But he was doing it for another reason. I have literally been to the top of the mountains. Just so happens that my name just happens to match too. But Mormons don't care. Jesus is coming and is going to murder them because he's actually Muslim. And so with this OCD guy, he's been brainwashed into believing that his weaknesses can become a strength. And so it's good that he's obsessive compulsive. Dear God. And then finding joy in my life. Not a single thing. Fighting for God with music. To hell with the devil. There we go. There's the theme song in the description below. But not a single person is aware that we're in Armageddon. That Jesus is coming any day now. And he's going to destroy the Mormons because they're not Muslim.